So this was for us screaming to, while we're not domain experts in health to solve all of these problems, there are a number of things that companies trying to provide solutions for these specific areas are struggling with. There's some very specific challenges around health, privacy and security. How do you manage relationships within that family? How do you handle custodianship relationships, caregiver relationships? Those are hard things. If you're a startup and you have to invent all of those things, that's quite a daunting challenge. Getting devices data, for instance, very, very hard topic. Same in the health and fitness space as what we saw 10 years ago with cameras. Lots of interesting devices, but with their own ways of connecting, no standards. How do you solve that? So we set out really thinking about what can Microsoft do to enable the space and really leverage our expertise running data center, dealing with privacy, and all of those components. So this is an interesting diagram. It's quite busy, but I thought in this context it would be very useful. You see all these data islands there, the labs on the left-hand side and the physicians, the health plan, the pharmacy, the employers, a lot of consumer services around those things like diet and nutrition, and a couple of those type of more fitness-oriented type of things, interactions with the hospital. So what is HealthVault? It's really that data repository at the center, and the platform on making it easier for you to collect that information out of all of those islands. So how do you make it easier to collect data? You see also the devices at the top there. That's why devices are so relevant. People don't manually enter data. They stop doing that after 3 days, which is one of the key issues with the solutions that have been out there today. There's a lot of PHRs, and it's like in the early days of banking. If you had your receipts and you typed it all in, it's only a step up from using a spreadsheet. So you have to automate. How do you make that easier? Then store that data in a centralized repository that's under your full control. Privacy is super important, especially with health data. People make the analogy to banking a lot of the time, and there are a lot of great analogies, but with health data, it's even more relevant. If I lose some of my health records or they get into the wrong hands, it becomes a life and death thing, or it can be identity theft. For instance, interesting stories have occurred there. And then thirdly, how do I, now that I have that data in one repository, how can I share this at a granular level with some of those other entities, with our applications that tie in with some of those players in the bigger field? I wanted to call out specifically, not drilling into all the details on this slide, but specifically to the connection to providers. We spend a lot of time. We launched HealthVault on October 4th in 2007, so we've been out there for a little over a year. We learned a lot, and this is a particularly challenging area. You see, talk about EHR, EMR, and how that's different. There is that wall between the PHR and the EMR, and how you transition that data. And how do you make that transition plausible and valuable and correct? There is that line that you cross where the physician has to sign off that this is something that formally goes into your medical charts, so medical decision-making or clinical decision-making can occur based on that. And so we're very pragmatic. Just like Google, we're quite humble on how much time this is going to take and some of those challenges. So at the bottom, you see the majority of the docs today use paper records. They don't have digital tools. Some of them have practice management systems and they can do scheduling, etc., but not the actual medical records. So what do you do there? We have a partner that integrates with both Google Health and Microsoft, No More Clipboard. A very interesting company where what they do is they basically have thousands of forms that you use with the clipboard with your physician. Your physician won't accept something, you just send it into them. It has to be their form. Well, they take your data out of Google Health or Microsoft HealthVault and image that data onto that specific form. If your doc is not on the list, they'll contact that doctor, get the form, and then they fax it for you. So it's not perfect, like all the things we envision will happen further down the road, but it's something that can work with every doctor today. HealthVault also has a fax service integrated, so your doctor can fax things directly into your HealthVault record. So these are kind of very pragmatic steps in enabling solutions today.